Can you believe it's been 45 years since these good old boys came to on the tube? Well, you better believe it. Let us head to Hazzard County and celebrate the 45th anniversary of one of my favorite shows, The Dukes of Hazzard. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, back again with another TV log. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows that I've really loved watching as a kid and growing up as well. I'm just going to say that this show was just so fun and crazy, action packed, and all that jazz and what have you. About two cousins, actually, and another cousin of theirs and their uncle as they tried to become the heroes and what have you of the little county they live in against the corrupt mayor and sheriff. But I'm gonna say it's just a fun show, great characters and a great theme too. Somebody like great Waylon James is. You know what I'm talking about. So let us fire up the General Lee and get ready as I bring to you in this TV log The Dukes of Hazzard. The Dukes of Hazzard was a fun filled comedy adventure series with a little action in it. It premiered on CBS on this day, January 26, 1979. It was a mid season replacement and was produced by Warner Bros. Television. The series was created by Guy Waldron, and it was consistently among the top rated television series in the late 70s into the early 80s at one point, ranking second only to Dallas, which immediately followed the show on CBS's Friday night schedule. Anyway, the show is a retelling of the English folktale of Robin Hood and features two young male cousins, Bo and Luke Duke, who live in rural Georgia and are on probation for moonshine running. Probation prevents the Duke boys from owning guns, and the duo are armed with bows and arrows and clever plans to outwit a corrupt sheriff and greedy rich city slickers. They're aided by their female cousin Daisy and other families, such as patriarch Uncle Jesse. They live in a secluded country home in the woods where they plan various escapades to expose and evade County Commissioner Boss Hogg and law officer Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. The Duke boys drive a customized 1969 Dodge Charger nicknamed the General Lee, which became a symbol of the show. The series was also inspired by the 1975 film Moonrunners. I've never actually seen it though, I've just read about it, which of course is about a bootlegger family, which was written and directed by Waldron and had many identical or similar character names and concepts. Okay, let me see now. Now then, here's how the story starts, as I've already given you most of it. Bo and Luke were previously sentenced to probation for illegal transportation of moonshine. Their uncle Jesse made a plea bargain with the U.S. government to refrain from the stealing moonshine in exchange for the boys' freedom. As a result, Bo and Luke are on 5 years probation and not allowed to carry firearms. Instead, they often use compound bows, sometimes with arrows tipped with dynamite, or to leave Hazzard County unless they get probation permission from Hogg himself, their probation officer. The exact details of their probation terms vary from episode to episode, which ran a total of 147 episodes across 7 seasons. Now, sometimes it is implied that they would be jailed for merely crossing the county line. On other occasions, it is shown that they may leave Hazzard as long as they are back within a certain time limit. Several other technicalities of their probation also come into play at various times. Now, corrupt county commissioner Boss Hogg, which that's actually Jefferson Davis Hogg to you, JD for short, Iron runs or has his fingers in virtually everything in Hazard. He is forever angry with the Dukes, especially Bo and Luke, due to their habit of foiling his crooked schemes. Many episodes revolve around Hogg's attempts to engage in some such scheme, sometimes with the aid of hired criminal help. Some of these are get rich quick schemes, though many others affect the financial security of the Duke farm, which Hogg has long wanted to acquire for various reasons. Other times, Hogg hires criminals from out of town to do his dirty work for him, and he often tries to frame the Duke boys as part of these plots. But Bo and Luke always seem to stumble over Hogg's latest schemes, sometimes by curiosity and often by sheer luck, and put it out of business. Despite the Duke's often coming to his rescue, Hogg never loses his irrational dislike of the clan, particularly of the boys, often accusing them of spying on him, robbing or planning to rob him, or other nefarious actions. Oh. Now, actually, Boss Hogg and Uncle Jesse were the only two characters to have been in every episode of the series. Other characters on the show include Cooter Davenport, the local mechanic, who in early episodes was portrayed as a wild, unshaven rebel, often breaking or treading on the edge of the law before settling down to become the Duke's best friend, and often referred to as an honorary Duke and owning the local garage. Next is Enos Strait, an honest but naive young deputy who, despite his friendship with the Dukes, and especially Daisy, whom he has a crush on, is reluctantly forced to take part in Hogg and Roscoe's crooked schemes. But of course, in the third and fourth seasons, when his portrayer left for his own show, oh, I'll get to the cast in a little bit, his character was replaced by Deputy Cleus Hogg, Boss Hogg's cousin, who is slightly more wily than he is, but still a somewhat reluctant player in Hogg's plot. Owing to their fundamentally good natures, the Dukes often wind up helping Hogg out of trouble, albeit grudgingly, excuse me. More than once, Hogg is targeted by former associates who are either seeking revenge or have double crossed him after a scheme has unraveled in one way or another. Sheriff Coltrane also finds himself targeted in some instances. On such occasions, Bo and Luke usually have to rescue their adversaries as an inevitable precursor to defeating the bad guys. In other instances, the Dukes join forces with Hogg and Coltrane to tackle bigger threats to Hazard or one of their respective parties. These instances became more frequent as the show progressed, and later seasons saw a number of stories where the Dukes and Hogg and Coltrane temporarily worked together. Also, once the fourth season ended, Bo and Luke left, and they then their two other Duke cousins joined in, Coy and Vance, for most of season 5, but then Bo and Luke returned. But again, I'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, the show was a big success here on when it debuted. It did very well. Well, it got mixed reception when it started, but however, once it started, it soon became a big success. It started out as a minor success when it first started, but it made the top 10 for its next 3 seasons. But when it got to when Coy and Vance took over, the show went downhill. It went a little more after Bo and Luke returned. After a total of 147 episodes that were produced and aired, the Dukes of Hazzard ended in February of 1985. However, even before the show ended, the show would soon get sent to syndication. It would get shown on numerous other channels, including the Nashville Network, CMT, ABC Family, long before Freeform, and TV Land was more recently. Unfortunately, they soon dropped the show in the wake of the protests and controversy surrounding the display of the Confederate flag, which that kind of left me cold and what have you. But let's not get into this subject or anything. I really don't want to cause any, well, you get the point. The show is also shown internationally as well. Now, it also had a theme song performed by Waylon Jennings, who was credited as the show's balladeer. In other words, the narrator. He did the song "Good Old Boys," which eventually reached #1 on the Billboard chart, the country chart that is, and #21 on the Hot 100. Now, of course, we only get to see this. Well, I'll tell you in a moment. Now, the version released as a single is not the same version that was used in the show's opening credits. The single version has a repeat of the chorus and an instrumental to pad out the length. Uses a different instrumental mix that emphasizes the bass and replaces the last verse with an inside joke about how the TV show producers keep on showing Jennings' hands and not his face on TV, which that's understandable. Anyway, during its run, of course, there would be Enos, a short-lived spin-off that lasted a total of 18 seasons, running from November 1980 to May of 1981. In early '83, Hanna-Barbera gave us an animated series called The Dukes, which I've already talked about that in the Saturday morning Tvlog. I'll give you the link to that when I'll put the link to the video up in the end of it with the other suggestions. There were several video games that came out. One that came out right during the Duke's final year, but three more games came out for the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and others. There would also be two made for TV reunion movies, including the Dukes of Hazzard reunion in '97 and the Dukes of Hazzard in Hollywood in 2000. Both of those I might have seen a little, but not I don't remember. And I will try and review those if I can find them, okay? But anyway, this show has become a very popular impact on pop culture and what have you. In 2005, after the last reunion movie, its two main stars were reunited in an episode of Smallville. But again, I'll get to that in a little bit. But you're thinking, why am I not talking about the characters? Well, let's go ahead and get into them. Now, first up with the main Duke boys playing Luke Duke is Tom Wopat. I'm going to say he does a great job on that on his role. And Bo Duke is played by John Schneider. Those are the two who got reunited on Smallville because John Schneider was well known for playing Jonathan Kent in the early seasons of Smallville. Who was who he did they both were really good and what have you. Now taking over the roles for the later for season 5, Coy Duke was played by Byron Cherry and Vance was played by Christopher Mayer. And then right about the end, Bo and Luke returned. Now for the rest of the cast, we have playing Daisy is Catherine Bach, who her trademark Daisy Dukes were a big reference in pop culture, especially with a certain little number from Katy Perry, that being California Girls. Playing Uncle Jesse is Denver Pyle, who has been in numerous TV shows and movies. Next is James Best as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. Yeah, he was one of my favorite characters because I always liked when he did that, like, and what have you. And he's always driving off. He always has lazy old dog of his Flash with him. Yeah. Now, actually, I almost forgot to mention. Let me reverse back to Uncle Jesse. Well, he did appear in all 7 seasons as well as the reunion, but unfortunately, Denver Pyle passed away before Hazzard in Hollywood came out. Now, playing Boss Hogg is Sorrell Book, and I'm gonna say he's a pretty good character and what have you. Yeah, really funny. Playing Cooter is Ben Jones. Cooter is definitely a great character, and I liked him. Playing Enos is Sonny Schroyer. He's very good. Waylon Jennings, of course, as I've mentioned, played the Balladeer. Now, Playing Cleus is Rick Hurst. Now, he would make a guest appearance in the fifth season, and he would be a main character in both the Reunion and Hazard in Hollywood films. Now, let me see here. There's other recurring characters, including Lulu Coltrane Hogg. Of course, that's Hogg's wife, and Roscoe's sister, played by Peggy Ray. But however, despite bosses and nemesis to the Dukes, Lulu is best friends with Daisy, however. Let's see. Then there's Hogg's cousin Mabel, runs the Hazard phone company, who often sneak listens to calls and lets Hogg know what's going on. Her name mysteriously changed from Myrtle to Mabel midway through the second season. Let's see. There's Hogg's young nephew Huey, played by Jeff Altman. I'm just trying to find the ones I'm more familiar with. Miss Tisdale, played by Nedra Voles. Of course, Emma's her real name. She's the postmistress of the Hazard Post Office. And Sheriff Edward Thomas Lill, or Big Ed, played by Dom Pedro Colley, who I later saw in one of his pre-Duke roles as Baron Somni in the cult classic blaxploitation flick Sugar Hill. Yep. And there's a ton, I mean a ton of special guest appearances, especially for the celebrity speed trap. During the show's second season, the show's writers began incorporating that into some of the episodes as a means to feature top country stars performing their hits, which of course happened at which they would be performing at the Boar's Nest, which is where Daisy works at. And of course, Hogg has a secret office right there as well. So anyway, yeah, I could recall seeing most of the episodes when I was little and growing up. A few years ago, now this happened even after the little issue with the Confederate flag bit, which occurred after the Charleston church shooting in 2015. I actually got to see the whole series on Prime Video, which that made it the second show I got to see complete up after Rowan Martin's Laughing. So anyway, yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard's definitely one of my favorite shows, and I do love it. It's really good. Let me give you a look at the characters, just in case you miss them. Here's what the cast is. And of course, we have Rick Hurst as Cleus. We have Boss Hogg, and then there's Bo, Bo and Luke. And there's Cooter. There's Roscoe, and there's Flash. Of course, right there's Uncle Jesse and Daisy. Here's a look at the main cast of season 5. We see Coy and Vince. There's Daisy and Uncle Jesse, and the General Lee. Now here's a shot of Roscoe along with Enos. So now you know about the Dukes of Hazzard, but I'm sure a lot of you know about the show already. But I wanted to talk about the show for its anniversary and what have you. It's a great show with great characters and what have you. I will talk about the reunion films as I've said already later on down the road if I can find them. But in the meantime, I will be talking about the theatrical film from 2005. And then I will follow up with its direct-to-video prequel, The Dukes of Hazzard: The Beginning, which came out 2 years later. Anyway, The Dukes of Hazzard, I would recommend you watch this if you haven't seen it. Just as long as you can find it and what have you. Now, the series is available in separate forms. I'm not sure how the price would be, though, but it would be tough to know how much it'd be. Okay, well, you can find solo releases of all 7 seasons. They're at a pretty decent price. You could get for maybe lowest price you could probably be for maybe about less than maybe less than $20 tops. Somewhere between $20 to $30 tops. You can also find the complete collection, which has all 7 seasons together, and you could probably get that for maybe about well, lowest price would probably be $50 or more. So anyway, that would be your best chance if you've never seen the show. Then this is a show I would recommend. But if you've seen the Dukes of Hazzard, then let me know what you thought about this show in the comment section below. If you liked the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And next time, I'll be bringing to you my Saturday morning TV log of Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater, along with the winner of my 200 Saturday morning TV log poll. So I do hope you liked this, and if you did, you may want to consider checking out some of these other country themed videos. In the upper left hand corner is the first part of my ranking of my favorite songs from the great band Alabama, which of course this is their 80s songs. The upper right hand corner is my review of the film Walk the Line, the story of Johnny Cash, which that's really good. And of course, has a ranking of my favorite Johnny Cash songs. Of course, he would team up with Waylon James on some. Or if you'd like, go to the bottom left hand corner and see my Saturday morning TV log for the Dukes animated series, which of course Coy and Van started at first, and then Bo and Luke took over for the rest of the run. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and we will have another TV log coming up sometime sooner. Details to follow. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.